Hello, my name is Kenneth Modica. My model is of Unity Temple in Oak Park. This is for my introduction to architecture at the College of DuPage. The Unity Temple in Oak Park was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in 1905. It was constructed between the years of 1906 and 1908. It sits on the southeast corner of Lake Street and Kenilworth. Lake Street being here at the front of the building and Kenilworth being here at the side of the building. Wright consulted with a man named Paul Mueller, who was the builder of Unity Temple. It was originally thought that it could be built in one season between May and November of 1906, but the work took longer than anticipated and construction even stopped at one point. Wright made changes and even additions to the plan, which led to the delay of its completion. There are a lot of words that they use to describe this building. Some say it's monolithic, others say it's unique, some say it's radical, which when you think about it, it kind of is for a building that was built in the early 1900s. But what you see in its form is you see a cube. You see one very large cube here. This back area is made up of 3 cubes. And this here, this is also a cube. There are 2 symmetrical porches on the sides of the property, which is also important. The porches on the sides allow for entry at the sides as opposed to the front. When this property was built in the early 1900s, Lake Street on this side of the property was a very, very noisy street. If you had a doorway here, you would be allowing a lot of noise to come in to the church itself. The function of Unity Temple is stated above its doorways in big bronze letters. It's stated right here. It says, "For the worship of God and the service of man." Frank Lloyd Wright originally designed Unity Temple for the Universalists, now known as the Unitarian Universalist Congregation. The front building, the front cube, serves as a temple or church. The back building, Unity House, serves as this would be for the worship of God. The back Unity House would be for the service of man. They would hold community events here, and they would hold Sunday school here. One of the unique things about Unity House is that it has a very, very large fireplace in it. Fireplaces are key for Frank Lloyd Wright. He felt that the fireplace, especially in the home, was a important place for families to gather. These 2 glass attics, if you will, they cover the very large stained glass panels in the rear. These are the panels in the rear of Unity House, and these are the large square panels. There's 25 of these panels in the ceiling of Unity Temple. The entire building is made of concrete inside and out. I'm going to give you these pillars here and these here. I'll show you a quick detail of them. They're very, very highly detailed. Some of them say that they remind them of Mayan influence. This concrete building was built by using large wooden forms. The forms were built and poured, and when the form cured, it was taken apart and used on the next wall. This allowed each wall to be made the same. Although the large forms did have its challenges. Wright was very concerned about the exterior finish of the concrete. He wanted the exterior to have a uniform appearance. He felt that the molds would leave no finish and that they would leave a smooth, uncharacteristic finish. The forms had to be oiled and mortar had to be troweled to the inside of the form to prevent voids. And these forms could only be poured a little, they could only be filled a short distance. And they had to wait for it to cure and then move on to the next. Frank Lloyd Wright originally wanted to take in trowel mortar over the exterior, but ultimately what he decided to use a certain type of pebble, and at the end of the forming he would acid wash it to expose the aggregate. He would acid wash the concrete, which would show the aggregate. The inside of Unity Temple is also made of concrete. It's got a very rough consistency. It's not smooth like drywall or plaster. It's a little bit rougher. The inside is painted in earth tones. I'll show you a picture here of the interior of Unity Temple. You can see the pillars on the exterior through the clear story windows, which are also stained glass. You see the panels in the ceiling, and you see the different levels. This being the main floor here. What's interesting about this is that historically, Unity Temple replaced the old Universalist church which had been struck by lightning and it burned down. And the fact that they used concrete probably had something to do with the expense, as well as the fact that it doesn't burn. Probably played a part in it. But the very unique thing about this is that in this church, what makes it very, very different from normal churches is that you enter through here and you go into the side. Most churches, when you think about it, you enter through one door and you face the front, but that's not so here. When you come in here and you go down. You go in through the doorway and you go in and you go down, and then you come up. You're compressed, if you will, and then when you enter into this great room which is just filled with light. Now, unlike the other churches, you have a side here with two tiers, a side here with two tiers, and a side here with two tiers, as well as the main floor, which face the altar on this side. Okay? And when you leave Unity Temple, you don't get up like you would in a normal church and exit through the back of the church. You actually walk past the altar and when you leave the church, and you come back out through this entryway. The Unitarian Church is a liberal organization. It's a liberal religion. And I feel as though the design and the construction and the choice of material Frank Lloyd Wright chose for this church, by the way he was a member of the church, shows that the different belief system that they have from your traditional churches or your traditional religions. Well, that's my model. of the Unity Temple. And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks.